Coming up today on the Raiders Report, the latest around Chandler Jones. He posted some stuff on his Instagram story. It has recently been deleted, but if you didn't see it, you're going to see it here today. On top of that, if the Raiders decide to move on from Chandler Jones and they decide to trade the veteran, what are some of the top destinations out there? And then, if that deal does end up going down, who can the Raiders try to go out and find, potentially sign, to try to replace Mr. Jones? Remember, anytime you want Raiders content, hit that subscribe button for videos all year long. 3 years ago, we were going live only twice a week. Last year, we were going live twice a week. This offseason, 3 times. So what do I always tell you? The more subs equals more content here, and we are doing lots and lots of content, especially this week. Not only are you going to get Raiders videos every single day, we're live today, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to be live every single Tuesday, every single Monday, every single Thursday, and every single Raiders game day. This week, we're going to be doing a watch party for Chiefs, Lions. Let's get the kickoff parties going. Let's get the watch parties pouring up. Going to have something real special for Refined Zeus. And then we're going to be live on Sunday. These are the times that our show is going to be going live. I am going live an hour before these games. So hopefully you're tuned in and ready to be watching and celebrating with Jeremy Chuggs and I. All right, so here we go real quick. We're going to roll through some of these Instagram stories that Chandler Jones posted. If you didn't see it this morning on the video that I dropped, you get a little bit of an opportunity right now. Long story short, Cliff Notes version. Chandler Jones showed up to the Raiders facility today to get a workout in. Could not get into the workout facility. Gave Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler a call. Neither of those guys answered their phone. Jones was obviously upset. Ended up leaving. Went to go work out at a public gym. So then what ended up happening is McDaniels and Ziegler tried to get in contact with Chandler Jones, tried to get in contact with his agent. Neither of those things happened. So McDaniels and Ziegler then reached out to Chandler Jones' ex-girlfriend, who he hasn't been in contact with for probably about 5 years at this point. Jones was obviously upset. As it stands right now, because the last thing that we really saw Jones put on IG, and the reason why this is scary is I don't know if he had a panic attack. I don't know the ins and outs. All I know are what he posted. And he said, I don't want to play for the Raiders if that's my head coach or GM. Which is crazy because earlier today on Chandler Jones' Instagram story, he posted that he bought McDaniels and Ziegler Tom Ford sunglasses. Jeremy made the joke, maybe they're Gucci guys. I don't know what the situation is. But when you're sitting down saying that your role models are Antonio Brown and Alden Smith and that you want to have a powwow with them, Chandler did not handle this in the right way. The Las Vegas Raiders did not handle this in the right way. The concentration right now should be week 1 against the Broncos. And yet, I'm sitting up here talking about this bullshit. McDaniels and Ziegler, Chandler Jones and his agent, get into a room. That's what adults do. Not do this social media bullshit because it's getting really, really annoying right now. But right now as it stands, the Raiders have tried to reach out to Chandler. The Raiders have tried to reach out to his agent. And all the calls, all the text messages have yet to be received. So be real with me right now. What are the chances Chandler Jones gets traded? 0 being no shot in hell. 100, we might as well just go live right now if you think it's 100 that he's getting traded. Let me know down in the comments section, what are the chances Chandler Jones ends up getting traded after all this drama? My answer is that it's less than a 5% chance. I'm not going to sit up here and say that because that happened, he's long gone. I'll say that sometimes when you have emotions involved, and maybe it's because McDaniels and Ziegler reached out to his baby mom. I don't have the answers there. But I also know I get into fights with my dad once in a while, right? I've gotten into fights with my best friends. And Chandler Jones has had a really good relationship with McDaniels and Ziegler since he was a child. That's why he bought them Tom Ford sunglasses literally less than a day ago. But I doubt that any other team, because it always takes 2 to tango, right? I doubt that there's another team out there wanting to pay Chandler Jones $16 million coming off a year where he only had 4.5 sacks. So Chandler might demand a trade. Doesn't mean it's going to happen because of the money and because of the way that they had to restructure this thing a little bit. But my job here is this: give you the news, but then also give you more analysis in case it does end up going down. So coming up here on the Raiders Report, we're going to look at the top 5 destinations for Chandler Jones. And I mean the top 5 teams that I believe are the most interested in making this deal happen. Let's go to the first team here, and this is not ranked in any particular order. The New York Giants have to be in consideration here. The reason is, now, I will admit, they don't have as much money, but in terms of fit for what New York's trying to do does make some sense, and I had a Giants source reach out to me and said, I could see the Giants trying to potentially make a deal for Chandler Jones. Let's go to the next team here. It's the New England Patriots, the team that he played. I know people, when they think of Jones, think of the Arizona Cardinals, but the reason why he has a relationship with Ziegler and with McDaniels is because the time that he spent with New England. That offense, to me, is not going to be a very good one, but I could see that defense still being able to go out and step it up. Let's now go to the next team here. It's the Buffalo Bills, and if they don't have Von Miller, which they're not going to have Von Miller the first 4 weeks of the season, but this is a team that just can't seem to get over the hump. One if you added another premier edge rusher, and on top of that, Jones is from Rochester. Maybe he's got some friends and family up in that area. Let's go to the next team here. It's the New York Jets, and the only reason why I'm putting the Jets on here is because if there's been one team, now the Eagles have also been like very, let's go try to get a Super Bowl, but the New York Jets have been right up there with, hey, I know we might be overpaying for a dude, but right now was our window to win a Super Bowl, and with Aaron Rodgers taking a little bit of cap hits, cap cuts, they have some extra money to go out and spend. Could that be Chandler Jones? And then the final team is the Baltimore Ravens, and I tried to find a team that thinks about defense first, that could play a 3-4 style where Jones could be a stand-up outside linebacker, and that he could also at times put his hand in the dirt. To me, these are the top 5 teams most likely to make a deal for Chandler Jones if he does end up demanding a trade. So what do you think? Out of those 5 teams, if you're like, Mitch, you're forgetting somebody, here's your opportunity. This is what the Raiders Report's all about. It's about having that real-life conversation and talking about what makes the most sense from top all the way down to bottom. So which team is the most likely to trade for Chandler Jones? So if I just told you my top 5 teams, let's go rank them really quick. At number 5, it's the Baltimore Ravens. Coming in here next then at number 4 is the New York Giants because of money. Then there is a clear tier break. At number 3, I'm going to go with the other team in East Rutherford, the New York Jets, because they have a lot of money to spend and they are in win now mode. At number 2, it's the Buffalo Bills, which means coming in at number 1, a team that he has a relationship with, a team that the Raiders have a great relationship with, is the New England Patriots. To me, these are the top 5 teams most likely to make a deal for Chandler Jones if, in fact, he does demand a trade. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, I got some potential Chandler Jones replacements, because if you move on from him, you got to be able to fill in his shoes. If you got a player that made the 53-man roster, you need another body. I'm not sitting up here saying that it's going to be easy to replace Chandler, which some of y'all are probably like, I think it might be, right? I got some names, some free agents, and some other players on this roster that will need to step up. But if there's one thing that I do know, it's that I got the best deal on the internet. Shout out to our sports book partner, BetUS. And if you plan on betting on any NFL games during week 1, I got an offer for you so good that if you refuse, you're going to be kicking yourself in the you-know-what. So in order to get the best deal on the internet, you got to go to chatsports.com/Raiders. You got to use promo code Raiders125. That gets you 125% deposit bonus. When you put down $100, they're going to give you $125 for free to bet with. Be a big baller. You can actually put up to $500 down and get $625 for free to bet with. It is the best damn deal on the internet. And sometimes I get asked like, all right, Mitch, well, what are you betting on? Right here. I'm betting on the Raiders and Broncos game. The over-under in this one is set at 44. Give me the over in this. And then for the Raiders being 3.5-point underdogs, I'm taking the Raiders to win outright. They have won 6 straight games against Denver. 3 out of the last 4 games in Denver have hit the over for 44. So with Sean Payton, an offensive-minded coach, with the Raiders' offense, I think it's going to be clicking. Give me the over. Hell, Josh Jacobs might put up 44 points himself because he's the Broncos' daddy. Now, here's right now as it stands, the Raiders' defensive end depth chart. And the reason why I'm showing you all this is because you do need a replacement. You have to go out and try to find somebody else that can fill the shoes to take up the snaps that Jones was going to take up. Also, because you don't want to put Tyree Wilson in a situation where he's forced to come back sooner than he's 100% ready. I get it. He played in the preseason, but there's no way they want Wilson out there going balls to the wall from the very, very start. They're going to put him on a pitch count. It's the smart thing to do. So as it stands right now, here's the Raiders practice squad on the defensive side of the football. I'm not sitting up here saying that Isaac Rochell, David Agoha, or Janarius Robinson need to step up for Chandler Jones and fill in his shoes. No, I'm simply saying that if their number is called, they might actually have to make a move and have something happen. And maybe the Raiders decide to go out and sign Jordan Willis, who they decided to cut from their 53. I also have another Raiders update here, not really around Chandler Jones, but the Raiders just signed Keelan Cole to the practice squad, and then they released Antoine Wesley. So there's some other Raiders news that happened. Hit that subscribe button. Other stuff that they could potentially do. Adam Plant Jr. I talked to Plant over the weekend, and I said, hey, man, get any updates from any NFL teams? He said he's still waiting right now, but if Chandler ends up leaving, could they add Adam Plant Jr. to the practice squad and end up promoting an Isaac Rochell in a pinch here to be ready to go up against the Denver Broncos? So what do you think here? If Chandler Jones is traded, who should the Raiders sign to replace him? Because that's where my mind went. If you're going to move on from Jones, it's not so much of a let's promote somebody off the practice squad. Let's go sign a player that wasn't good enough to make our 53 or practice squad. No, it's you got to look at free agency. You're saving a bunch of money by trading away Jones. So how am I going to use that money and invest it on my defense to a player that, yeah, he didn't play all that great last season, but he is a part of the plan. He is part of their plan in order to succeed this upcoming year. So my top free agent defensive ends that I could see the Raiders at least picking up the phone and giving them a call. The first one that I'm going to mention here is Kyle Van Noy, and this is the Adoy type of name, right? And we say Kyle Van Noy all the time. He has played in past regimes with Brian Flores. He has played in past regimes with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. He's an edge. He can drop back into coverage. He can do a lot of different things. Not quite the exact comp of a player like Jones. A lot more versatile. If you're looking for more just I need somebody to go out and get the quarterback, the number one name that I would say you got to go out and get, probably Melvin Ingram. Ingram has spent some time on the Chargers. He's played with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's bounced around of late, but he has still been able to put up at least some sort of solid numbers. Another veteran edge rusher that you could potentially look at is Carlos Dunlap. Recently spent some time with Kansas City. Is mainly known for what he did with Cincinnati. Spent some time with the Seattle Seahawks on top of that. But overall, though, another player I just need a body to fill. And then Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn does have some relationships with Champ Kelly when Champ Kelly was a member of the Chicago Bears. Quinn, name to keep in mind. And the last one here is Jason Pierre-Paul. He might not be able to put 10 fingers up in the air, but he's still able to give you solid snaps. And when you think about overall fit, Jason Pierre-Paul to me reminds me of a heavier-setted Chandler Jones, a guy that he can put his 7 fingers in the dirt, a player that can stand up and play outside linebacker. And for Chandler and his role that he's going to have this upcoming season with the New York Giants, I do think that that is something important to at least be able to consider. Chase Young, I mean, you got to trade for him. People are saying Chase Young in the live chat. Also, some other Raiders news that just ended up going down. Las Vegas has waived Jordan Perriman and Isaiah Zuber from IR with injury settlement. So that's more of a happened before. We already talked about it, but now it's more of a officially official thing. So remember, y'all, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you do. And if you're not watching this live, tune in because we're live right now, and Refine Zeus got this show up and popping.